As we get live pictures now from the Rashtrapati Bhavan, you can see Rashtrapati Droupadi Murmu walking out that main door, greeting the finance minister presenting the Bahi Khata to the President of India. Mr. Garg, I just want you to walk us through these pictures. As you say, this is a new practice of presenting the budget copy. You have the MOS Finance and the entire...
The finance minister is not handed over.
Okay.
She just showed and then took it.
Okay.
So it's not handing over the copy, it's taking the blessings.
But then there is also a sort of conversation that they have where she briefs her
Of
about
course,
what
now
is going on.
there would be a conversation. They would sit together for about 10-15 minutes. We'll have the conversation. Finance minister will brief the president about it and re-seek the council and the blessings of the president.
I know we said this last time and the time before that as well, but the fact that the two protagonists in this picture both are women, I think that's a fantastic testimony to Nari Shakti and to the fact that...
Even Economic Affairs Secretary is a woman.
Is also a woman, yeah.
So
I think that is a great testimony to women's power, ma'am. I mean,
yes. I do hope that in this budget we get more allocations for childcare, for creche, for working women hostels, because the Viksit Bharat goal is to take women participation in the labour force to 70%. So I do hope for that as well.
And that has been a concern as well. The labour participation force among women has been coming down.
It has been actually increasing, but not as much as we would want it to be.
I would suggest that women's participation should increase, but it should increase in more remunerative jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
The largest increase is coming up in what we call unpaid helper in family enterprises. That is where women have overwhelmingly coming up in the job. The job increase in last couple of years is in that.
There's also this this practice again that's been started, Professor Rajiv Kumar, about mixing curd and sugar and offering that to the finance minister. I don't know if we have pictures of that this time around, but last year we did see the president offer
there is a full
sweet
breakfast.
Oh, there's a full breakfast that happens at the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
And also dahi shakkar.
Dahi shakkar. That's good.
Well, that's a good omen. I mean,
good omen.
I feel that, given all the noise at the global level, it's a time for India, and the FM has a very big responsibility to have a very strong focus on the priorities for Viksit Bharat. And she needs all these blessings and the curd and the shakkar, I'm sure.
No, we did talk about, the global turmoil that is going on. Even this morning, Mr. Trump, I think, has posted on social media saying India has assured that it will buy Venezuelan oil. Again, it's I don't know who has told him this, but it's certainly having an impact back here in India. How does the finance minister sort of insulate, to whatever extent she can,
I think
Indian industry from these global shocks?
I hope the finance minister will give her point of view of the global turmoil that is taking place at the moment. How does she understand that?
Yeah.
Is that a more fractional world, more protectionism, etc., and so on. But and in that context, talk about the EU,
FTA.
India FTA, and say what, and maybe the budget should actually announce very specific measures of taking advantage of the India-EU FTA. But that is what is, for example, now if textile garments and leather are going to have 0% duty on the EU, this is the time to now give some incentives to the manufacturers of these commodities to take full advantage. So I think India in the world economy should be, in some sense, at least a prominent theme of the budget and not all inward looking.
So, the one thing that we've seen, every country has been affected by this tariffs and the tariff war that is going on. The only country that's managed to sort of at least save itself or at least look America in the eye and negotiate on an even keel seems to be China, because they have the capacities, they have the leverage, whether it is rare earths, whether it is manufacturing. What leverage can India hope to achieve, if not immediately, at least in the near future, where you're not browbeaten into accepting such lopsided deals? And India has been holding off from accepting this US FTA, the US interim FTA.
Well, it seems that the India-US trade deal is going to get delayed even more. And as far as leverage is concerned, we did have the leverage in respect of pharma and possibly services exports. But pharma, he had already let us off. There were no tariffs on that.
Yeah.
Services exports, I guess we didn't decide to use because it would have hurt us.
More than it would have hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So in a sense, we don't have that much leverage, and that's certainly is clearly a fact. But can I just go back, Zaka, to the point that Rajiv was making, and very important one, because one leverage we could have or should have had if we had begun to diversify away from the US market. They are our biggest exporter in advance, and the EU deal does give us that opportunity. However, let's just remember that the EU is going to take over a year to ratify this, put it through their parliament and their national parliament.
European Council, yeah.
So for that reason, Rajiv's point becomes that much more important, because we will have to increase our labor-intensive exports, which
Correct.
will get cut if we attempt to try and sell more to the US. And the EU could be a much bigger buyer. And if we put in place labor-intensive sector packages, it would be very helpful, because it will help these industries to prepare for next year. That's the point.
And I think, there's also the economic consideration, there's also the political consideration. For example, a place like Tirupur in Tamil Nadu, which is a huge textile manufacturing hub, that state goes to polls in a couple of months. You have even a place like Agra, Kanpur, that belt, which is a big leather manufacturing hub. That state goes to polls in about a year's time. So the finance minister will have to address some of these labor-intensive, small-scale industries who are export-oriented, export-dependent.